This tank is the Rom Borsig Waffenträger. This is a German Tier 8 tank destroyer. The map is Epic Normandy in the Frontline game mode. So you can see that I spawned at Cap B. I'm using the Waffenträger because I want to level it up. I've leveled up almost every one of my Tier 8 tanks. There's a lot of branches now, but I still got a small number. This and the Japanese STA 1 or something like that, and I might have a few others. So this is a great game for leveling up tanks. There's no pain. It's all, there's no grind. I really enjoy playing any tank in this mode. So I decided to take this sniping position. It's one that I've been working on for a while. It's a pretty good sniping position. I'm going to explain to you why. Number one, you're going to have really good coverage protecting Cap B. You're going to get a lot of nice shots. It's not going to be perfect. There are better positions for covering Cap B, but this is going to be really good if you have a lightly armored vehicle. The other reason why is because you can watch this area over here. If the enemy tries to flank you, you've got good coverage down that west flank. We've got a lot of bushes to hide behind. We've got solid cover. We got these rocks and this pillbox. And the other reason why is because there's a position which is near where that LT-432 is. Maybe he's going to that position where you can hit those tanks that climb that position. So that's the reason why. And also you can see that I can hit tanks that are way out there who try to come around on the east flank of Cap B. So this is a really strong position. You'll notice that I don't use any APCR rounds. I'm only using the AP rounds, which I brought in double, and I have HE rounds, which is a third. So I have 2/3 AP and 1/3 HE. And the reason why is because in the Frontline game mode, you're going to be primarily shooting at the sides of tanks or at tanks from long range or the rear of tanks. It's rare you're going to have to brawl. Perhaps if you are playing a tank and you intend to brawl, maybe you will need APCR rounds. So as you can see, we got 3 tanks coming around the side here, and luckily I was able to spot them not as early as I had hoped. I do play from the Philippines with a high ping time, so I use the auto aim a lot. It's really a necessity. However, we got an issue where we've got some lightly defended tanks like this LT-432. They're going to be easy to take out. They are Russian tanks, and the reality is that you're going to bounce off Russian tanks. Oh, look at that. Another LT showed up. I know I'm going to hit these guys hard. Look at that. 720 damage. I'm not that worried about taking damage because the repair facility is right in front of me, but it is a problem if there are enemy tanks in the area. And the other reason why is because I'm going to respawn. I've got, like, if you look on the left, there's a white tank and a ghosted tank. And you can see that I have another tank that's ready to spawn. So I don't have to worry about respawning. I don't have to wait. I'll take advantage of your respawns. There's other players who will tell you to try and stay alive. Don't be that way. You know, if you got a respawn and you're at the spawn, you know, don't worry so much about dying. Worry more about getting the job done. Getting the job done has to be the priority. Okay, so you can see that we cleared them out. There were like 6 enemy tanks, I think, and they're down to, we got this one T-44 who's running away, and he might not make it. So obviously I'm going to probably go for repairs. I have oh no, that was not an HE round. That was a regular round. Actually, you know what? I'm sorry, I'm confused. I don't know if that was an HE round or not. But the issue that I was going to mention is that there were objects in the way. And if it were an HE round, it might not have detonated properly against the enemy tank. I only have 5 hit points left. And I was fortunate to be able to survive this battle. Okay, I guess I was not fortunate. Now, the reason why this game is interesting and the reason why I marked it is because I believe that it's going to be when we get to the objectives that the game is going to get interesting. So because we haven't capped B yet, I'm going to go in with strong armor. When you need to cap and you're at the spawn, you want strong armor. Or whenever the enemy is really pushing you hard and you're all stuck on that beach, come in with that strong armor because you want the survivability. And don't worry so much about the gun. You want that strong armor. Obviously, a tank like a Defender would be a good choice, and I do have the Defender, but I haven't yet compared all of the tanks to determine which one has the best armor. And the other reason why is because I am biased against the Defender because it's an overpowered tank, and I'm not the type of person who wants to just go in and kill everybody because I got the overpowered tank. And obviously the Chrysler's not a putty. It's not a putty cat, but it's got a weak gun. So I do have the Defender, and I will use it. And I have the IS-3A. Okay, so I decided to go in with the Chrysler. Like I said, maybe someday I'll do a video showing which tank is the best tank for every case. The gun is certainly not going to get you anywhere. So it looks like we're making a move on Cap B and Cap C. We'll speed it up for you. I played a game where there was an absolute bloodbath at Cap B, and we were on the defending team, and I would go in and reset and go in and reset, and there was an ally, I don't remember what he was, like a Panther 2, which you would think is a weak tank, and he just kept resetting at the last second, and when he reset, he would knock a minute off of the timer, and we were getting all these amazing resets and strokes of luck. And other players were commenting about the bloodbath at Cappy, but unfortunately, I didn't mark it in my archive, so I don't know which replay it was. And I've got so many games, it's not likely that I'm going to be able to find it. But it does happen. And there's another well-known YouTuber who says it's not worth it to go in and reset the cap, and he's completely wrong. You get huge amounts of prestige points. You can get enough that you'll advance the entire bar. Like you see up in the left corner where it says private and it's got a bar going across. If you reset that cap, or if you cap by yourself, you can get enough prestige points equal to the entire bar going across. Maybe we'll see it at some point in this game. So capping and resetting cap is worth huge points. And there is another YouTuber, Sam Lockhart, who I think he's got a great channel. He's discovered that artillery gets tons of prestige points. So if you're looking to level up on prestige points and get those free tanks, artillery is the way to go. But obviously you do have to know how to play it right. Watch his video on how to do it. Looks like I missed a chance to shoot at that tank. One thing about Frontline is it's not the type of game where you really have to be overly concerned about taking damage. You know, I've got a tank waiting for me in the garage and another one showing up in a minute, and it really doesn't bother me if I die. I'm going to do whatever it takes to push that enemy back. I'd rather send the enemy to the garage than worry about myself going to the garage. Oh, I missed another chance. That's one of the problems with a rear-mounted gun. This guy doesn't even know what he's doing, this IS-3. Let's see what the... Okay, you can see that we're outnumbered. You really want to press that tab key. If you don't know how it works, try using it during the game. You notice that I rammed him, and I did 83 ram damage. Ramming is an effective technique. You want to learn how to use it. And you can see that I'm reversing, and the reason why I'm reversing is so I can go in for another ram. You're not going to get as much damage on the second ram because you're going at a lower speed. Okay, so it looks like I'm going to go in with a Defender. Oh no, I chose the WZ-132, which means I'm going to have a capping strategy. So we're going to check out the map. It looks like we got B and C. We don't have A. I'm going for a capping strategy. When I go in for the capping strategy, I'm not going to go through the mountainous area. I'm going to stay in the lower area, and I'm going to try and sneak my way through. And there's a wall on the southern part of the base on the cap, and one of the best positions is to be south of that wall. I'm going to show you exactly where it is. It's basically near the IS-3 to the left of this wall. You can still get inside the cap. And you can probably fit like 2 tanks in there. The problem with this base is that everybody knows where you're going to sit. So everybody's going to drop artillery there. So it's not the safest position, especially if you got a light tank. However, I do have a lot of hit points, so I'm not worried that much about artillery. One of the things that I do is I do try and knock as much stuff down. If you're attacking, it might not be the best strategy because obviously you want those barriers to be up. So maybe it wasn't a smart thing to do, but if you're defending, it's a smart thing to do. Stay away from the enemy. Do as much damage as you can. They're not focused on me right now. Looks like I was taken out of the game. Wasn't a long wait. Going in with the ELC even 90, and looks like I switched to Cap C. Okay, so the ELC even 90, I use this tank all the time when I want to cap. This is my prime tank. This is my go-to tank for capping. I do not have 6th Sense on this tank. And I believe the reason why is because I'm trying to level up the crew for my wheeled vehicles, which I do not have yet. So I'm just, oh, you know what? I think what happened was I had a crew member who had 2 0 skill crews, and I didn't know it. So I put camouflage and I set it at 100%. I did BIA and camouflage, and I was like, oh my God, I could have put 6th Sense. So it was a mistake that I made. And I didn't want to pay to redo it. I'm pretty sure we're going to get this guy. I don't think this guy's going to make it. Okay, so you don't want to hide behind the house because everybody's going to drop artillery there. I'm going to be pretty well hidden. My commander's out of the game. I don't have a first aid kit because I don't have a strategy for first aid kits. I use fuel on this vehicle because it's underpowered. The engine is underpowered. And I used a small repair kit and the large repair kit. However, if you play Frontline, you know that repair kits can be rather useless. It's nice if you want to go in with fuel and with food. I'm advising my team for everybody to get on Cap F. You don't need repair kits and health kits because you got the resupply points. Okay, so now I like to play a leadership role, so I'm going to do whatever it takes to win the game. And we need to keep on capping. And I know that my team's not going to do it, so I'm going in with another light tank with a capping strategy. I'm going to go for Cap E. You're going to often find that I'm going to be either the only one trying to cap or I'm going to be the first one on my team running for that cap. And I don't worry about failure because there's lots of games where I capped all by myself and nobody did anything about it. You have to learn the strategy. There's no simple rule that says don't try to cap if you're all by yourself. You know, there's people that believe that and they're wrong. You have to learn, and you learn by trial and error. I will go through all the trial and error to show you when to cap and when not to cap. But in general, the idea is when you go in by yourself, have an escape plan, and you have to be willing to run away if you really think you're going to die. And to die means it has to be a direct, immediate threat. Being on low health is not enough to chase me off the cap. So you can see I'm taking a wide flank. It looks like they're not on Cap B. Oh, you know what? It looks like maybe I'm going after the... Okay, I'm going after the objectives is what I'm doing. Let's see if it's a smart move. It looks like I'm going to go after objective 2. You notice that my tank jumped ahead. My ping time is up to 999 milliseconds, so I was out of the game for a little bit, and it looks like it's coming back. So I'm having trouble right now with the game, and my plan to go after the objectives is not going to work. I advised my team to all get on Cap E, and they're not doing it. Cap E is lightly defended. There's only 4 enemy tanks, and they're not at the cap. We could easily Cap E. We're probably going to get it. Okay, so when you go for objective 2, you want to run through the rail lines. There's lots of routes that you can take. You can take to the left of the tracks, you can go through the middle of the tracks, you can go through the right of the tracks. And if you see an enemy tank, don't engage him. Run away. And occasionally I'll come across enemy tanks. Like as you get closer to this building, you're more likely to find an enemy tank up on that upper area right in front of you. They do like to sit up here next to this bridge that I'm passing. But you notice that they left Objective 2 undefended. And as I told you at the beginning of this game is going to be about the objectives. It's not going to be about capping. And there's no one here. They let me slide right through. I usually go behind because I don't want to waste my shots, and I don't like to use APCR. I want to use the AP rounds. I can afford to do it. I just have a belief. Try to do everything with the most efficient rounds, as opposed to playing with the strongest round or the strongest tank. I only do that if I want to complete a mission that awards me a prize. So it looks like we're going to cap in a few seconds. We're going to have time to go after some of these objectives. And this is going to show you, let's see how much damage we get on this. Okay, so we got E and F. They got to go after D. We got 3 minutes left. Someone finally shows up, and he hasn't spotted me. You want to prioritize the objective and not the tank. I'm shooting at him. I could have done 260 damage against that objective. Let's see what we would have gotten. I probably could have knocked that down another 500 if I had not gone for the Scorpion, but I decided to run. You can see we got a Progetto 46 and an M41 showing up. Still doing damage to that Scorpion. I got 5,400 damage. Okay, Objective 1, look at that undefended. We way outnumber them at Objective 1. They've only got 4 tanks defending, and at least 3 of them are at Cap D. So we got 2.5 minutes. Let's see what happens. My allies are probably going to be able to take out Objective 2. So this isn't the smartest move. I'm not going to be able to penetrate. Some of the shots might miss. I'm sorry, not miss, but might not do damage. And I'm looking to see if I can. Look at that. You got a little bit of green over there. But I don't have a commander, so he's not going to aim as well. We got D. We've got 6 minutes left in the game, and I believe we were under 2 minutes at one point. Now we've got some enemy tanks spawning that could be a threat to me, and I'm really bringing this down. We got Objective 2 out of the game. You can see I'm doing a lot of damage on my own against this objective. I've gotten more than half of it out of the game already. I'm not going to see the enemy when they come in because my commander's dead. And it looks like my regular rounds, I might have run out of regular rounds. So it might be possible that I might be on the APCR rounds. So at this point, my priority is to stay alive. Let's see. I'm going to take a quick look at the damage. 974. It would have taken 6 more shots. Realistically, the most I would have gotten was maybe 1 or 2 more shots. But you know, I'm not a chicken. I'm not a putty cat. I'm going to go in probably for another run. You can see I'm going in for another run. I'm going to try and hit that thing. Got 2 more hits on it, and I'm out of the game. Usually, softening up Objective 1 is enough for me to move on. And look how many allies I got moving on Objective 1. So because I softened it up, I'm going to move on somewhere else. And I would have done this even if there was no allies going for Objective 1. I would have gone for another objective because, like I said, I'm a leader and I want to soften up those objectives, let my allies do the easy job, and I'm going to try to do the more difficult jobs. So I got the STA-1. It's one of my few Tier 8 tanks that I haven't leveled up yet. This is actually a pretty decent tank. It's not super fast, but I seem to recall that the gun is actually pretty good. And I know that I like playing this tank. It's got a reasonable amount of damage. I'm up to 8,500. I'm up to captain. My allies are advising for people to respawn at 4 and 5 objectives. You really want to go for objective 4 because the enemy cannot snipe you at objective 4. If they want to hit you, they got to be there. And if they're incompetent, they're not going to be there. So unless you see a massive tanks at objective 4, go for objective 4. You'll notice that they've got objective 3 undefended. But if I can go in at objective 4 and even get a little bit of damage done, it's worth it. Even if you can make one hit, do whatever you can. If everyone on your team goes in and hits that objective once, you're going to win the game. If you average 300 damage, then you only need 11 hits on that thing. And you can pull it off. You can absolutely do it. There is a disadvantage because you got to hit the objective and you can't fire at enemy tanks while you're shooting at the objective. So that's a disadvantage that you're going to have. You don't want to be in a position where there's 2 minutes left and you're playing games with these enemy tanks. You want to be making moves on those objectives. Right now, I'm just wasting time. Luckily, my ally showed up and he's got a good gun. You can see this T-26 is not a good player. He's not playing properly. The T-26E4 is one of the cheapest Tier 8 tanks that you can get in the game, and a lot of beginners are going to buy it. I believe it was my first Tier 8 premium tank for the same reason. I bought it when I had only been playing for 3 weeks, and I had a 38% win rate in the T-26E4. It's really a beginner premium tank. So we got 1.5 minutes left, and we are nowhere near making any progress on these objectives, and we could easily lose this game. Because I'm low on hit points, a smart thing to do is to snipe from far away or to try and make it to a resupply or repair facility. But there's only a minute left. There's going to be no repairing and no resupplying. Like, obviously, that was not going to penetrate. You got to switch to the high explosive rounds in order to go after that tank. It doesn't look like we're going to pull it off. I go in for the ELC even 90 because it's fast and it's got an autoloader. We're not going to get any overtime. And I'm probably not going to make it I don't give up because I still want to play the game. And I'm going to learn. I'm going to think, is 30 seconds enough time to get there? I already know that it's not. I'm up to 9,900 damage and 1,900 assistance damage. But if you're in the clutch situation, you want a fast autoloader to go in and hit those objectives. And look at that. We failed to do it. The team is finally going up onto objective 4. And if we had another 30 seconds or another minute, we could have pulled it off. And that's a defeat. I'm going to guess if you rewind and watch the mini-map, it's probably going to be because of incompetent gameplay. It's going to be a while before people learn to play. When I first played this game, the first couple of days, people really don't know the strategies. But after 2 or 3 days, they start to pick up on it. But they haven't figured out the core strategy of capping and killing objectives. If you have any questions or comments, please post below.